Law enforcement officers as they tried to track down 3 suspects linked to Officer Francis's death. All 3 are now in custody, including one who was arrested in Lorain County.
We have team coverage for you tonight on this story. 3 News investigator Mark Namick is in Elyria. That's where one of the suspects was arrested. He'll break down how this chase made it all the way there. Laura Queso shares how leaders across the state are reacting to the incident.
Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins breaks down what the leading cause of death is in officers over the last several years. But first, 3 News' Isabel Lawrence is in Bluffton near Findlay, where all of this started. Isabel. You were the only reporter who was there. So when that police officer, the suspect in the police officer's death was arrested, what can you tell us about what happened today?
Yeah, Betsy. So to go ahead and paint a picture for you, the area where they were searching this afternoon was pretty rural. It was a lot of farms and fields out there. And we noticed a lot of properties that were being searched also had a shed or a barn. But to tell you the truth here, what gave it away for us, the area they were searching was actually the helicopter that was flying overhead right above Hancock Road 15 and County Road 29. Now, when we got to the area, we saw dozens of law enforcement officers, the sheriff's office, state patrol, some local police searching properties there. I saw many carrying long guns. They also had a K-9 unit responding. And we did see an individual in the back of a squad car surrounded by law enforcement officers. Now, as soon as we saw that scene unfolding, I went ahead and called the Ohio State Patrol, their PIO. That sergeant did confirm to me this afternoon that that 3rd suspect had been taken into custody. Now, the end of this search must come as a relief for this small, tight-knit community. To give you some context here, Bluffton, the population, only about 4,000 people. One of those towns everyone knows each other, and we know that Officer Francis contributed so much here.
Today is a sad day. This community lost a hero. He is an outstanding police officer. His heart was big.
A small town going through an unimaginable loss. The Bluffton Police Department has only 9 full-time and 5 part-time officers, and now they've lost one of their own.
He had a heart of gold. He will be sorely missed.
Bluffton police officer Dominic Francis was killed on March 31st, struck by a fleeing car. He wore many hats. In the Corey Rawson community, he was also a teacher, coach, even school bus driver.
He was a guy that was always friendly. I actually saw him at a track meet Tuesday evening. We exchanged some jokes, but always a really friendly person, kind of a bigger than life, never met a stranger type of guy.
Bluffton Police Chief Ryan Burkholder left now to remember their last conversation 2 nights ago.
He's always ready to go and do the best he can for his community that he serves, and he will be missed.
Chief Burkholder says the last line of duty deaths for the department were back in the 1920s. Now they must add another plaque to their wall of honor. Such a sad day for this community today. We also did find an article from 2019 from the Bluffton Icon, which actually shared that Officer Francis had been named the 2018 Officer of the Year in this community. He was chosen by his peers, which just goes to show how beloved he was here. That article also did mention that he had a wife and children. In Bluffton, Isabel Lawrence, 3 News.
Isabel, thank you.
Our team coverage continues now closer to home in Elyria. Mark Namick joining us now. Mark, good afternoon to you. You're standing near where police arrested the 2nd suspect this morning. How did he end up all the way in Elyria from Bluffton?
Yeah, this chase covered 6 counties and more than 100 highway miles, and it ended here in Elyria, and I'm on Route 57 near Chestnut Avenue, and there's a shopping center very nearby. And as you can tell from some video that was shot this morning of this Prius, which was the 2nd car used by the suspects, it crashed. It's unclear whether they were forced off the road by police, but you can see in some of the footage some front-end damage on the cars, so it may have been the case. But to better understand how we all ended here, you got to look at where it began early this morning.
It started at 2 a.m. near Marion, Ohio, where a highway trooper spotted a black sedan traveling more than 100 miles an hour. 15 minutes later, a Findlay trooper identified the car near Route 15. 3 suspects inside. The car then headed south on I-75. The car then fatally struck Bluffton police officer Dominic Francis as he tried to slow the vehicle with a tire-popping device. The suspects abandoned the sedan along County Road 29, where at least one of them stole a Prius around 3 a.m. Troopers in Medina later spotted a speeding Prius heading north on I-71. Police stopped the Prius in Elyria.
And the police did arrest that driver literally just feet from where we're standing this morning. He is one of the 3. They're not offering a lot of details yet on those suspects or even whether or not they believe they intentionally swerved into the officer in Bluffton or not, but we'll be following that coming up at 11 tonight. Jay?
All right, Mark Namick live from Elyria on What's New. Mark, thank you. Betsy?
Our team coverage continues now with our Laura Queso. And Laura, a lot of leaders across the state have been responding to Officer Francis's death today, including Governor DeWine.
Yeah, that's right, Betsy. Governor DeWine ordered that flags be flown at half staff in all public buildings and grounds in Allen and Hancock counties, as well as in Columbus at the State House. In a statement, he writes he is grateful for Officer Dominic Francis, going on to say he and Fran are, quote, grateful to him for his selfless service to Ohio, and our hearts go out to his family and his colleagues at the Bluffton PD. And today, the governor was also at a press conference to talk about a new police initiative in the state. That conference started with Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, who asked for a moment of silence to remember Officer Francis.
I would like to take a moment, though, and remember yet another law enforcement death with a moment of silence. These are heroes who put on the badge and pick up the risk every day they go to work to keep the rest of us safe.
Yeah, and he goes on to say a hero died and a community is shaken. He says Officer Francis will never be forgotten. Local police departments are also showing their support. The Amherst Police Department writes, quote, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Officer Dominic Francis and the Bluffton Police Department during this incredibly difficult time. We'll take it from here. And Avon Lake Police write, quote, Avon Lake Police Department would like to send our deepest condolences to the Bluffton Police Department and the family and friends of Officer Dominic Francis. Thank you for your service, they write, fallen but not forgotten. And clearly, this officer had such a great impact on so many people, those he knew, Betsy, those he didn't, a true hero, and of course, a community tonight certainly feeling that loss.
Yeah, certainly are. Thanks so much, Laura.
Sure.
Our team coverage continues now with our senior health reporter, Monica Robbins. Monica, good afternoon to you. I know you looked into the cause of death for officers both nationally and in Ohio. What did you find?
Well, the info I'm about to share with you comes from the Officer Down Memorial page. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to honoring America's fallen law enforcement officers. In 2021, a total of 598 officers died in the United States. 10 of those were from Ohio. 2 of them died from gunfire, including Cleveland police officer Shane Bartek, who died New Year's Eve while off duty in a carjacking attempt. 1 of Ohio's 10 died from a car crash. 1 other died from an undisclosed duty-related illness. And the final 6 were victims of COVID-19. In fact, COVID-19 is responsible for the deaths of 422 of the 598 officers we lost nationally. In the year the pandemic began, there were 410 law enforcement deaths. 269 of those were from COVID-19. None of the 4 officer deaths in Ohio that year was related to the pandemic. However, in the first 3 months of this year, nationally, COVID still leads law enforcement cause of death with a total of 50, Jay.
We shouldn't be too surprised by that because the age group that the officers fall in, that nationally has been the leading cause of death over the last 3 years, COVID-19. Monica, I'm wondering if we've seen a trend in the number of officers killed by gunfire, say over the last 5 years.
So yes, as of now, COVID is still the #1 risk to our law enforcement officers. However, to your point, from 20 to 21, gunfire fatalities increased 32%.
Wow. Okay, that's a big number. Monica Robbins with the numbers for us this evening. Monica, thanks.
Well, there is a lot happening with this story. More updates will be developing throughout the next several days. We'll have everything you need to know at WKYC.com. As for now, next up on What's New, buying barrels. The plan from President Biden expected to give all of us some relief at the pump.
Then it is the slap that was heard around the world. Find out what Will Smith said he would not do during the Oscars ceremony. That's coming up in Pop Break.
And if you are headed out and about this evening, it's chilly out there, still a little bit windy, but overall we are going to be seeing temperatures declining in the overnight hours from the 40s down into the 30s by tomorrow morning. We have more details on the rest of the forecast straight ahead.
Welcome back to What's New. Lower gas prices could be on the way. Today, President Biden announced he's releasing around 1 million barrels of oil every single day from the administration's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. His plan would begin in May and calls for the extra million barrels a day for about the next 6 months. He's doing this in an effort to increase supply in the hopes that this would drive the price of gasoline down. The U.S. has seen a steady increase in gas prices going back to early 2021, with prices sharply increasing since the ban of Russian oil here in the U.S. following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Putin's war is imposing a cost on America and our allies and democracies around the world. The action I'm calling for will make a real difference over time. But the truth is, it takes months, not days, for companies to increase production.
President Biden is also urging Congress to make oil companies pay fees on wells from federal land leases that they are currently not using. The United States consumes more than 7 billion barrels of oil every year.
Well, of course, heating oil is involved in all of that, too. A lot of folks have been turning the furnace back on after getting a little bit of a break. Tonight, temperatures are going to be sliding. We are now in the 50s. We will be in the 40s. We're headed for the 30s. And you know what that means? We have a little bit of a rain-snow mix back in. And bringing all that cool air in are some very gusty winds. We still are clocking wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour right now. West of Cleveland, we have wind gusts elsewhere that are anywhere from 25 to 40 miles per hour. And earlier today, we were balmy. Look at this morning's temperatures. Now, it's kind of interesting because I showed these exact same graphics yesterday, and the trend was the other direction. So we started this morning at 3 a.m. at 70 degrees, and then temperatures kind of fell. You can see exactly when the cold front came through. There was a little uptick right on the cold front, and then boom, we dropped like a rock as we went into the afternoon, and now we are in the 40s. The 24-hour temperature change is as stark as it was yesterday. We were 25 to 35 degrees warmer yesterday at this time than the day before. Well, today we are now 25 degrees colder than where we were at this time yesterday. So what goes up will come down, and it came down awful fast. We are sitting in the 50s, east 40s, west, and the cool air continues to move in from west to east. So do expect the cooler air to filter in by morning. All of us likely to be in the 30s to start the day. And west of us, look at these rain and snow showers. That's to come our way tonight and to begin the day tomorrow. We'll take the temperatures off, and you can see they are relatively scattered. As of right now, a lot of this is probably more due to diurnal heating, so it kind of percolates up during the heat of the day. But we'll see that settling down a little bit. It won't be gone, though, because we are anticipating scattered showers as we go through the night tonight. Primarily rain early, and then it begins to mix with and change to snow to start the day tomorrow. So temperatures in the low 30s, mid 30s tomorrow morning. We will have on and off snow mix showers throughout the day, and it does not look like we are going to have to deal with any accumulations. That is definitely some good news. But end of the day, we will get a few sun peaks in here. Here's the problem. That temperature has not moved all that much. So we have a pretty chilly day on tap for tomorrow. We're going to be optimistic and say 42 in your Union Home Mortgage forecast as that snow mix lingers. We'll get to see some sunshine on Saturday to start the day. Temperatures get a boost back up toward 50. We'll hold on to the warmer air, slightly warmer air as we get into the day on Sunday. A few showers will be with us. And then we really start to see temperatures taking off again as we get into next week, Jay, as we'll be back into the 50s and even the 60s. And this time of the year, you can expect we'll have a lot of showers hanging around too.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the 60s. Okay, talk to me now. Diurnal heating?
Diurnal heating, daytime heating. The sun comes up, it begins to do its thing on heating the ground. The ground then warms the air, and because warm air rises, that's why it percolates up. So it looks like popcorn showers on the radar.
Very good. I kind of got that out of context. You know how I am about weather terms. I like to know as much as I can.
You get diurnal and nocturnal. Those are your options.
Very good. Thank you so much, Bets. Well, it is the talk of the nation, the slap at the Oscars, and we have new information tonight about what Will Smith refused to do in the wake of his outburst Sunday night. Digital anchor Stephanie Haney has that in Pop Break. Then, bull versus mailbox. Who do you think will win? Take a guess, and we'll pay it off in our Worth the Watch, which is coming up after the break. I think we know who won. You know what that music is. It's our Pop Break music, and today we have a special edition of Pop Break for you. The Academy of Motion Pictures Board of Directors revealed Will Smith was asked to leave the Oscars after slapping Chris Rock, but Betsy, he refused to leave.
Isn't that interesting? This, of course, is Chris Rock took to a stage last night in Boston. He did address the incident for the first time. Our digital anchor Stephanie Haney is in for Kira Cotton today. She has the latest developments.
Coming out to a double standing ovation, Chris Rock broke his silence, addressing the elephant in the room right off the bat.
How was your weekend? Hey, Chris, you ready for tonight?
In an audio recording released by Variety, Rock said he wasn't yet ready to wade into the controversy.
So you came to hear that? I had like a whole show I wrote before this weekend. And I'm still kind of processing what happened.
Cheered on loudly by adoring fans, the warm welcome signaled a triumphant return. Rock emotional, saying his eyes were misty. Though he was briefly interrupted by a heckler, most of the audience was thrilled to see Rock bouncing back.
I just want to see how a comedian would handle his first set after an incident like that.
Now in the aftermath of the ugly incident, a new bombshell. The Academy says Will Smith was asked to leave Sunday's award show, but refused. Oscars co-host Wanda Sykes telling Ellen DeGeneres she still feels traumatized by what happened and the Academy allowing Smith to stay.
You assault somebody, you get escorted out the building, and that's it. You know, but for them to let him continue, I thought it was gross.
Ellen, also a former Oscars host, agreeing.
You don't let someone do something like that and get away with it and be rewarded.
As Rock was taking the stage in Boston, more Hollywood drama was unfolding in Los Angeles, where the Academy's Board of Governors initiated disciplinary procedures against Will Smith for, quote, inappropriate physical conduct, abusive or threatening behavior, and compromising the integrity of the Academy.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
The board also apologizing to Chris Rock and adding, thank you for your resilience in that moment. But this morning, Rock is still not sharing details, but promising when he does. Stephanie Haney, 3 News.
Yeah, of course he's going to make it funny. That's what he does.
Right.
So I think as time has gone on here, Bets, that it feels anyhow like the Hollywood sentiment tide is beginning to turn. Because initially, just moments after that, when he received the Academy Award, he had thunderous applause.
Yep.
But now as we're learning more of the details, he was asked to leave and didn't. Chris Rock got a 3-minute standing ovation before his show. It does feel like the pendulum publicly and perhaps in Hollywood is starting to swing a little more in Rock's favor, just from a sympathetic figure, but also perhaps against the actions of Will Smith.
I think truly people had no idea what was going on. I think there's still a lot of people who think it was just, a ploy, like it was all staged.
There were some that said that.
It supposedly was not.
What do you think?
I don't think it was.
I don't either.
I think he just popped off, quite honestly, and I think that he should be reprimanded for that. And the other thing is, the people in the audience that were all there, you've maybe seen comments on social media where they're saying, I was stunned. And apparently the whole theater was like silent right after it happened.
Those that were in attendance said afterwards, it just pulled all of the energy out of the theater.
Where do you go from that?
Because I think, too, initially everybody in the audience was waiting for a punchline. Like, this must be a joke.
Yeah.
But you learned when he went back to his seat and he shouted, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. At that point, anybody that thought it was a joke and then watched Rock struggle for about 60 seconds afterwards to sort of get his bearings, like everybody in the theater realized, okay, this is real, folks. This is serious. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Academy does moving forward.
Yeah, hopefully it's not just a slap on the wrist. Just he needs to be reprimanded.
It needs to be appropriate.
It absolutely
whatever that
does.
is. And I'm glad I don't have to decide
They're making a statement for everybody else who's coming down the pike in the future.
Yeah.
Lots going on.
Wow.
Well, as the saying goes, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. And we have body camera from a police officer in New Jersey. Now, the bull, there he is, managed to escape from a local farm. He found the mailbox, apparently didn't like it, and so he see ya. He decided just to take it in his horn and yanks it out of the ground. And then he continues to play with it a little bit there. Well, the bull, along with several pigs and a goat, were safely captured, brought back to the farm on which they reside. But that mailbox is a goner for sure.
Look how easily, Betsy, pulls it out of the ground.
Well, sure. I mean,
It's just...
not and that doesn't look like it's like one of those longhorn steers. I mean, this is, who knows, maybe it's a baby. I obviously I'm not a farm girl, but those horns aren't exactly gigantic.
Right.
Still powerful enough, though, to do
I'm not getting in his way, though.
Nope.
I mean, that's a serious animal, and he did some serious damage to that mailbox. I wouldn't want to be the one responsible for catching him and bringing him home.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's ready for that quite yet.
Well, in some parts of our world, your mailbox either gets taken out by a cow or a snowplow. It just depends on where you are.
That's exactly right. All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New, we've finally gotten to spring, which means allergy season to a lot of us. But how much do we really know about spring allergies? And when I say we, I mean Betsy and I.
Yeah.
We're going to find out because that's the topic of this week's Throwdown Thursday.
Play along with us, will you? Then the IRS may owe you hundreds of dollars from years ago. We'll explain why and the short timetable of days that you have left to collect that cash.
And we continue to follow developing news after an Ohio officer was hit and killed on the job this morning. The very latest on that investigation as our team coverage continues when What's New comes right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Into the second half hour of What's New on this, the final day of the month of March. Thanks so much for spending time with us on this beautiful Thursday. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford.
Yeah, thanks you for staying with us. We start tonight at 5:30 with the newest developments on an Ohio police trooper, Dominic Francis, and the three suspects that were arrested after police say one of them hit an officer, Dominic Francis, trying to stop them.
This all started near the Findlay area, but one arrest was made in Elyria. We have team coverage tonight. Mark Namick has all the details on what exactly happened. But first, Isabel Lawrence is live in Bluffton. Isabel, you were actually on scene when police arrested the third suspect. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. A lot of action there. We were in a fairly rural area, a lot of farmland, police there searching sheds and barns mostly. When we saw that someone was indeed seated in the back of a squad car there, I went ahead and called State Patrol, and they did confirm to me then that someone had been taken into custody, that third suspect. But really, though, what it comes down to is the impact that this loss is making on this community. To give you some context here, the Bluffton Police Department, just 9 full-time, 5 part-time officers, really tight-knit community here. Officer Francis, too, we know, is more than just an officer. He was an active member of this community. And in the Corey Rawson community, too, he was a teacher, a bus driver, even a coach. People say he had a heart of gold, and he will be missed. The superintendent over there at Corey Rawson also said that Officer Francis was a graduate of the school system. He was also a volunteer firefighter there. Want to give you a look as well at what we have been seeing here. We've been seeing people coming all afternoon. You can actually see someone right now coming and laying a wreath here in honor of Officer Francis. We have photos, flags, flowers, that squad car behind them there, draped in blue and black ribbons. This whole community of just about 4,000 people so touched here. And we do also know that in an article from the Bluffton Icon from 2019, Officer Francis was so beloved, he was actually voted by the department of the Officer of the Year in 2018. And so sadly, Jay and Betsy as well, that article did point out that Officer Francis did have a wife and children as well.
Sad indeed. Isabel Lawrence live tonight from the community of Bluffton on What's New. Isabel, thank you.
As we mentioned, one of the suspects was arrested in Elyria very early this morning. Our Mark Namick is live near where that arrest was made. And Mark, what can you tell us about how one of the suspects ended up there?
Yeah, Betsy, this chase covered 6 counties and more than 100 highway miles from the best that we can tell with the details that we have. And it ended here in Elyria, as you said, on Route 57 near Chestnut. And there's a shopping center that many people out here would know quite well. The car from video that we shot early this morning shows that this Prius, which was the second car used by a suspect, was on the side of the road. Police aren't saying how it ended up there, whether they rammed it or not, but if you look at that video, you'll see some damage to the front end of the police car, so maybe they rammed it off the road, and we'll get more on that. Now, to better understand how we really ended up here, you've got to go back to the beginning and look at how this unfolded.
It started at 2 a.m. near Marion, Ohio, where a highway trooper spotted a black sedan traveling more than 100 miles an hour. 15 minutes later, a Findlay trooper identified the car near Route 15. 3 suspects inside. The car then headed south on I-75. The car then fatally struck Bluffton police officer Dominic Francis as he tried to slow the vehicle with a tire-popping device. The suspects abandoned the sedan along County Road 29, where at least one of them stole a Prius around 3 a.m. Troopers in Medina later spotted a speeding Prius heading north on I-71. Police stopped the Prius in Elyria.
And again, the police did arrest that driver here, just really feet from where I'm standing, but they're not giving much detail on who they are and what might have been behind the chase and why they took off. They just put out a press release that didn't really offer much more than what we know now, but we'll be following that at 6 and 11 tonight. Betsy?
Yeah, there's a lot more information certainly still to come. Thanks so much, Mark.
Now we'll have more on this story, including more reaction from local police departments in this senseless death that's coming up tonight on 3 News at 6 o'clock.
Well, of course, we are following other news of the day. Here are 3 other top stories now at 5:30. First, disturbing details today during opening statements in the trial of Gail Eastwood Ritchie in Geauga County. She's the mother accused of murdering her newborn baby boy back in 1993, who became known as Geauga's child after the infant's body was found 29 years ago. Familial DNA linked Ritchie to the case back in 2019, and investigators say she confessed to disposing of the body that was found wrapped inside a trash bag in a wooded area. The defense claims Ritchie, who was 22 at the time, could not accept that she was pregnant, never told anyone, and then delivered the baby stillborn.
Didn't know what to do. Put the stillborn baby's body into that garbage bag, into the trunk. It sat there for the next several days. She didn't know what to do.
Well, prosecutors say the baby was born healthy and then murdered. Richie is expected to testify before the trial is over, which picks back up tomorrow morning.
Betsy, a new criminal justice initiative announced today to help law enforcement across Ohio crack down on finding criminals responsible for deadly shootings and other incidents of gun violence. This is part of the new statewide ballistics testing initiative, giving BCI and Highway Patrol $10.5 million to fund this program, including allowing more opportunities for law enforcement to submit firearm evidence for scientific analysis.
And President Biden today said starting in May, around 1 million barrels of oil will be released from the administration's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That will help to drive down gas prices in the U.S. This will last for about 6 months. That's going to free up around 180 million barrels of oil. President Biden is also urging Congress to make oil companies pay fees on wells from federal land leases that they aren't using. The U.S. consumes more than 7 billion barrels of oil a year.
Next on What's New, free money, why the IRS could owe you hundreds of dollars, and why you need to act fast. Stephanie Haney is along next. She'll join us with a breakdown.
And the season is upon us. Yes, spring. And that means spring allergies. We have a special edition of our Throwdown Thursday to see which of us really knows about them. Don't hold out much hope for me. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two, too. A lot of clouds out there this afternoon, a little cooler than where we started. We had a pretty significant temperature drop today. So what does the weather behold for us for tomorrow? Well, I have the latest on that coming up.
Hello, mic check. What's cooking in Cleveland is lots of money for lots of people. Okay.
Well, you know, in the atmosphere, we are always looking for lift. Lift is a big deal. Lift means storm systems. And I'm going to start you off right now. Jay, pay attention to this. This is our vorticity map for the day today. Now, vorticity is kind of a twisting and stretching of the atmosphere. And a lot of times that's an identifier of where lift is happening. Where you see these reds, those are positive vorticity areas. So we've got some good lift that's taking place. For layman's, this is called disturbances. So these are the disturbances that are coming through. Watch how this is going to go down over the next 5 days. We have one that comes through here in the next 24 hours. Saturday night, another one. Then as we get into Monday, I mean, they're just coming at us rapid fire. We've got more lined up out to the west. So a lot of times, this is a great first map reference of just how active our weather pattern is going to be. And based on that, you can see it's going to be a pretty active week ahead for us. If you're out walking this evening, it will be a very brisk walk for you. Temperatures are going to drop back into the 40s late evening. We do have rain in the forecast. We even have some snow in the forecast. Live look around town for you on the roads. There is not any major problems to speak of, although it does look like we've had a few little incidents here and there. Most of the roads showing up green right now, but if we kind of zoom in a little bit, you can see we do have a couple crashes eastbound on the Turnpike, also down at Route 18 in Medina, and then on 271 in the Macedonia area. Other than that, it's smooth going, so you may see some folks on the side of the road. Temperatures are really cooling off now, and all that cool air is being driven in by these brisk winds. Wind gusts over 35 miles per hour still happening right now, and the cold air is still filtering in. So we are continuing to watch the mercury drop. Big picture on the satellite and radar, we showed you this colder air that was wrapping in behind our storm system. That is now here, and you can kind of see how this is just going to continue to move in. But we do have some scattered showers, rain and or snow out to the west of us. Those will be headed our way tonight. Remember that first little disturbance moving through, and then also to kick off the day tomorrow, although we will get a bit of a break. We're going to go in your National Designer, our big picture forecast here. All these scattered showers moving through in the early morning tomorrow, and yeah, you may end up with rain and or snow. That will continue on and off, but look at where the cold air begins to retreat back to the north by Friday at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, out in the Plain States, there's another disturbance lining up. Isn't that interesting how that happens? And this is the one that will be coming through late Saturday, probably more into Saturday night. And then once we get into the start of the day on Sunday, that kind of winds up and gets out of here. So we may have some lingering showers on Sunday too. Here's tomorrow for you. Temperatures in the low 40s. That little rain snow mix is going to linger, but later in the day, we may get to see some sunshine. It's definitely going to be cool and still blustery, so it's going to feel even colder than it actually is. Your Union Home Mortgage forecast takes us up to around 50 or so for the weekend. We will bring in that rain chance Saturday night into Sunday, and then more scattered rain chances as we head through next week with warmer temperatures coming back in. But we will be keeping a close eye on all of those disturbances as they continue to move our way.
All right, one after another after another.
That's the way.
Thank you, Bets. Right now, time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and you know the drill. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Jay. We're going to start with everyone's favorite topic today. We need to talk about your money, because if you haven't filed your 2018 taxes yet, you need to do that now. That's because the IRS says there is $1.5 billion owed to 1.5 million people. And legally speaking, if you don't file by April 18th, you lose your right to that money, so you should do it. The median amount owed is $813, so go get that money, people. Now today, on It's All Good News, my YouTube show, we have a major celebrity sending good vibes to Rake founder Ricky Smith. Listen.
What's up, Ricky? Michael Simon here. Good vibes only, my friend. Want to wish you good luck with that food truck. I know you're going to kill it, and you are the man because you always do the right thing and take care of people that need taken care of. That's why you are so loved. So tremendous success. May the grilled cheeses melt like butter.
Can we say yes to some gourmet grilled cheese? Yes. Chef Simon helped design the menu for Ricky's really amazing food truck. Here's how Ricky reacted when I told him about the surprise message from his favorite chef.
I'm literally holding back tears while shopping. Okay. Yep, you got me. Heck of a surprise.
We are so happy to be sending him good vibes for this major moment, and I'll be live with him tomorrow right here on What's New in the Flats for his launch. He'll be parked outside of Welcome to the Farm on Friday. and Saturday nights. Now, this food truck has been Ricky's dream for 8 years in the making, Jay, and he is making it donation only. So give what you can, and if you can't, you can still get some good food. And we've got more of that backstory on the Good News Show, which is on that WKYC YouTube page if you want to check it out.
All right, very good. And thanks for making me hungry now.
Gourmet grilled cheese, can't beat it.
I know, it is an old staple, and it never lets you down. All right, Steph, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well, the senior prom is taking on a whole new and very cute meaning in North Dakota. We're going to introduce you to a 92-year-old woman who is feeling like she is the belle of the ball. Then it's a special edition of Throwdown Thursday. Mike Polk Jr. is going to join us momentarily. He's going to find out how much or how little Betsy and I know about spring allergies.
Got you. How we sounding here? All right. Nice. Digging it? All right. Yeah, I sure do. It's an honor.
Hit your doorbell.
Oh.
Where's the red mark? I don't even know. Where am I supposed to stand?
You're doing great.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You're nailing it. What are you doing,
this is what
6
really
jobs?
happens. Yeah, there's that too. Hey, it is Throwdown Thursday, everybody, and now that spring has sprung, so have allergies for many people.
That's right. Mike Polk Jr. is here. He's going to act as our host today to find out how much Betsy and I know about spring allergies. Do you have allergies? I've recently developed them, so.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Maybe it's more
Oh, my
sensitivity
Yeah,
than actual allergy.
Got through my whole childhood, and then all of a sudden I hit my 30s, and Mother Nature's like, you want something? Here's a new wrinkle. What if you start sneezing all the time, and you can't catch your breath, and you
Wait
don't know
till you
why?
hit 40, and everything up close looks
Heaven
blurry.
forbid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's fun.
Just keep LASIKing me up. Are you guys ready to do this?
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
ready. Yeah.
You guys ready to not yell at me if things go poorly?
I will not
All
yell
right,
at
here
you.
we go. First question, true or false? Flowers trigger allergies. I think that's Betsy.
That is Bets.
Now, are we talking about the pollen from said flowers?
Oh, boy.
Or the flowers themselves?
The question was flowers trigger allergies, true or false?
Well, I think the flowers from, the pollen from the flowers would, so I guess yes, that would be true.
The answer is false.
Oh, come
According to the Washington Post, people mistake irritation from flowers as pollen allergy. Pollen from flowers is too heavy to blow in the air. What's really irritating most likely is the flower's fragrance.
Yeah, people can be allergic to fragrance.
There you go.
Okay,
Really?
Right?
Okay.
I know. Cool water for women, I'll sneeze like I go crazy. I mean, I can't be around it.
Wait, there's a cool water for women?
Yeah. Oh, Jay, you're missing out.
I've got cool water for men.
Here we go. What time of day is the pollen count the lowest? A, morning. B,
I already buzzed in.
I know. I believe that was Jay.
I thought it was a mistake.
What do you think?
No, I wasn't going to lose to you on the buzz-in factor. Now I'm stuck because I don't know the answer. I know mornings are terrible.
Right.
So I would just use some deductive reasoning and say that evening would be the best time.
Evening is correct. Pollen starts rising in the morning and peaks mid-afternoon, sort of like me. The lowest pollen counts are just before dawn. All right, question number 3. Here we go. Which city was ranked the most challenging place to live for allergy sufferers?
Oh my goodness.
A, Scranton, PA. B, Hartford, Connecticut. Or C, Dayton, Ohio.
Ooh, man.
Eventually, someone's going to have to guess.
I'll be
all right, here we go.
the golden goose, I guess.
Go ahead. Sure.
I am going to go ahead and guess Dayton, Ohio.
That is incorrect. Jay for the steal.
What were the other? Hartford's
You
no.
can't steal something.
No.
Nobody
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Never mind, then that was wrong.
Yeah.
You get no points.
Okay.
Take a guess, though.
I would say Scranton.
It is Scranton.
Because I lived in Hartford for a while and my allergies were just fine.
One more romantic reason to live in Scranton, Ohio.
Scranton, PA.
Scranton, PA.
Yeah.
Is just, you're just sneezing.
Wasn't that the home of The Office?
It is.
Yeah.
Or right near there.
Office?
Number 4, true or false? Allergies are brought on by your immune system trying to protect you.
I would say, yeah, that's true.
That is true.
The immune system's always wreaking havoc.
It's amazing.
In some way, shape, or form.
According to the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, which was my alma mater, it's your immune system attacking substances it thinks is harmful.
Right.
Sometimes it mistakes food, pollen, or mold as being harmful. When sometimes it's not, Betsy, you understand. Okay, we're going to wrap this one up. This is question number 5.
5 points on the line.
What type of pollen is most prominent during spring? That'd be Jay. This is really important.
Well, the yellow stuff all over the cars is tree pollen, correct?
I'm not telling you
Sounds like
nothing.
some cheating going
You're not helping me?
I'm not telling you nothing.
Well, and I'm stuck, so I'm going to go with, what was C?
It's A, grass pollen, B, tree pollen, or C, all of the above. Yellow stuff is not an answer.
No, okay, well, I'm going to go with tree pollen because I know that's everywhere.
Tree pollen is correct, and you have lucked your way into another one, my
Well
friend.
done.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Good
really.
guessing. Tree pollen season starts in March and sticks around through the first half of May. Grass pollen kicks in May through mid-July.
But that is the yellow stuff, right? Tree pollen.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so heavy on your car that you can turn your windshield wipers on and you have yellow stains.
It creates a fun effect.
Haven't you seen the videos from the deep south, like the pine trees especially,
Yes. Oh,
when
yeah.
they tap it and it goes
Unbelievable.
Now that's
How
tree
much
pollen.
pollen is in
yeah.
a tree.
Let's not bring
All right.
that here.
I get to keep the leg lamp. I didn't even bring it out here.
Yeah, you
I'll
might
keep
as well
it.
just screw it to your desk because it's never going to come out.
No,
super
that's
glued.
not true.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Up next, you are about to meet one lovely lady. She's 92 years young. Her name's Madeline, and she finally made it to the senior prom.
Then on 3 News at 6, we are, of course, continuing to follow developing news after an Ohio officer was hit and killed early this morning on his job. The latest on that investigation as our team coverage continues.
And we have a pop quiz question for you today. Which major tourist attraction opened on this day in 1889? Was it the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, or the Statue of Liberty? The answer when What's New comes right back.
This is a small, tight-knit community. Hello, hello.
Good, how are you?
Hi, yeah, to paint a picture for you here, the areas where they were.
Hey, Al, I'm here. Do you have me clear? Here in Elyria? All right. Yep, I'm going to stand here now.
Me too. Al, how are you? Good evening, and thanks for being with us on this special edition of 3 News at 6.
Good evening. I'm Laura Queso on this special edition of 3 News at 6.
Russ, I like that blazer. Oh, thanks, man.
Because you're on.
Thanks. I like yours too.
Before the break, we asked you which major tourist attraction opened on this day in 1889, and the answer is B. The Eiffel Tower opened to the public on March 31st, 1889. It stood, and still does, 984 feet tall. That's about 300 meters. It was the tallest man-made structure in the world at the time.
And she's a beaut.
She is a beaut. All right now it's time for our Show Us Something Good. It brings a whole new meaning to the term senior prom. A high school senior in North Dakota took his 92-year-old great-grandmother, Madeline, to his senior prom. It was the first prom for both Dakota Wallen and Madeline. Madeline says it was a perfect night and she felt like the belle of the ball.
Walking beside my great-grandson, listening to all this music as we walked, and people clapping and hollering.
That was, we walked out on the floor and everybody just went wild.
Dakota is a fine young boy. I will tell you that. Madeline and Dakota danced the first dance and then took a lot out of her. So Dakota took his great-grandmother Madeline home. He said he wasn't originally going to take anyone to the prom. He said there was really no one he was interested in asking. Then his father suggested, hey, why don't you take your great-grandmother? And Dakota didn't bat an eye. He jumped into action.
So adorable.
Yeah, pretty
She's even
cool.
got her little corsage on.
Very neat. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
3 News at 6 with Russ and Laura starts now.
Now at 6, officer killed.
Today is a sad day. This community lost a hero.
A high-speed chase in northwest Ohio leaves a Bluffton police officer dead, a crime scene that stretched across several counties, and an Elyria arrest. One of the suspects was picked up in Lorain County. We have live team